98.1. Up next is the African program presented in English.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Radio Interview on Radio 4EB. I'm your host today, DJ Russ George. Keep us logged on from 98.1 and please like and share our programs on social media. Today I'm joined by Rio Valeri Manyuchi, Marketing and Communication Officer of Radio 4EB of the African Group. Rio is also a digital social producer for the African program, which airs every Sunday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Join us as we explore Rio's journey, her work with the African program, her unique insights into the power of the media and community engagement. Rio Valeri Manyuchi, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, I think you are literally having me today because you run this program and I'm the guy on the other side of the seat.
Hey, I have to be nice.
Okay, so also to add on that top of your biography list, you are the director of Review Studios.
Yes.
Which specializes in filming, photography, marketing, social media. I don't know. Can you explain more to me about that?
Okay, so I'm a brand and creative strategist. Mm-hmm. I deal with brands from a holistic perspective. So just taking it back, I've got a very extensive background in advertising and have been in advertising since I was 16. So how I stumbled into Review Studios was when I was young, I decided that I am going to have my own advertising agency. Yes, that was about, 17 years? So I went into more getting into advertising agencies and learning how they do things and just basically studying everything to do with advertising, and not only from the design perspective, but everything to do with client management and production and everything. So it was fun. I was young. I had time, energy, and everything. I had time, and so when I did decide to move to Australia, my life kind of just did a flip, like a somersault, and I found I couldn't really continue working in media for a time because of what do you call the migration issues?
Yeah.
It was hard to get any role, even as extensively talented. I know I'm talented. Great portfolio, awesome talent, but I still could not get a foot into the media space. I kind of gave up on it for a while, but I still had my company running in Zimbabwe, which for a time was satisfactory. But as time went on, I just needed to do what I was born to do.
Okay, so you found it difficult to put a foot into the media market. What were the reasons?
There were never really any reasons, really. It will be more like no responses, the channel that you multiply, you apply to like gazillion jobs and no one replies, and maybe sometimes the one that does. I remember only one interview I ever got related to anything media related. They thought like we'd only ever spoken on the phone, like the first interview was on the phone.
Yeah.
I noticed when I did go for the third interview, they didn't realize I was black or of African heritage, because the comment was like, "Oh,
okay,
you sounded so different on the phone.
You were too eloquent." That's the problem, Once you become eloquent, it becomes an issue because people cannot be able to tell. You need to speak like this,
like that, yeah,
so that people understand you that you are from Africa with an accent. You can't be very eloquent,
Yeah, so that one opportunity I had, and just being shot down and being, after every day, some people saying, your portfolio is great, we'll have you. And after the face-to-face, for someone to just say, nah.
We'll definitely discuss about that. You are also a media personnel for Australian Professionals of Australia. Can you just give me a brief?
African Professionals of Australia.
Oh, okay. What did I say?
Australian Professionals something.
Okay. Okay, sorry for that. It's a Sunday,
All is forgiven. Yes. So with APA, pretty much I kind of just found a home. Initially, when I kind of stepped into it, was more for, the fun aspect of just, being in an environment where you're with your kin. It was just more for fun's sake. Because I remember it was it was my first attendance of the gala, which you forced me to go on my birthday.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, and I had a swell time, and I met amazing people who I continued to connect with over time. And the more I was in the space and kind of getting to know more of APA and getting to the point of eventually meeting Tommy Adebayo, who's the current chairperson. Chairman is the word I'm looking for. We got into a lot of discussions, and that's when I started kind of just sharing ideas of what I'm trying to understand what APA was all about and what the future and the vision of it was. And from there, that's when the passion was born, and I just felt African professionals, me being a professional, it became like I needed it to be better represented, especially in media and in any space that it is.
And you were also into media, so
it just worked out that way.
Okay, if I may ask something, do you like snakes?
Not particularly. I think. Okay, this is gonna be so wrong.
Yeah.
I think their skin is so luxurious. Not that I want to take it off them or anything. They are so beautiful.
Okay.
They are so beautiful to the touch. They are so beautiful, minus the head. I'm not saying chop off the head either, but they're beautiful. So in as far as liking snakes,
would you get like one of those pythons put on your neck? And...
Oh no, I don't mind pythons because I had this crippling fear of snakes before.
Yeah.
And high school I went to, we had this whole intervention where they were like face your fears, and they would really like put you in the...
So did they put a python around your neck?
No, they put me in an aquarium with about 10 massive pythons. But that was after talking about how pythons kill and how safe I am. Were
you not skinny enough to be killed?
I was. Because
I thought like...
But they were already full. So they put me in the aquarium. It was after a few attempts other kids did it, so you're like, yeah, I can do this.
You're hyped up.
I can do this. I went down, and then they're like, okay, we're going to put the python in your hand. The thing, it was massive. I was small. I was tall and skinny. And then I'm like, okay. So the guy chilled for a while, and then he says, okay, I'm leaving the aquarium. So he climbs up the stairs, and I'm like, oh, I got this. Oh, nice. And then the snake peed. No, man, please, get away from me. But
so a snake peed on you.
Yeah, pretty much.
I think that should be. We need to do a research on that. It has to have some African meaning of some sort.
I don't think it does.
I think you're one of the only people in the world who be like, I got peed by a snake.
No, my only fear was I thought I was gonna drop it in that moment, but I froze. Like I just kept on holding it.
Valerie, you got peed by a snake. Come on, how many people can actually say, you know what? I got peed by a snake. It's always like I got bitten by a snake or something.
Peed, man. Peed.
Really? I love that snake. I love that snake. I need to do a research. There should be something when someone gets peed. Okay, I'll do the research and I'll be able to tell you. So if you were afraid of snakes, how then did you want to become a veterinary?
So back then, that was like further back down the line. Snakes were not in the equation when I wanted to be a vet.
Whoa!
No. Like I was a kid. All I was thinking of was dogs, cute kittens, little birds.
Do you like cats?
I love cats. I'm totally a cat person.
Okay, so you don't like snakes? You don't like spiders, I suppose?
I don't really mind them. It's only snakes. Like, I don't really have a problem with many animals. Snakes were the one thing I couldn't understand because it was always psychological, where I can't hear them, and the fact that I can't hear them and they camouflage and they can kill me with just one bite.
So you wanted to become a vet and you were scared of snakes. Okay. Let's just imagine one day you are now a professional veterinary and someone brings in their big python.
Python, I don't mind.
Okay, another snake. Okay, let's... I don't know if there's any
other one who's keeping any other snake. I dread. Carpet python, that we can deal with.
Okay, so from wanting to be a veterinary, you wanted also to be a choreographer.
Oh man, I thought I was a badass dancer.
Can you still dance? Do you have the moves?
It's subjective. It's subjective, but I think I've got the African moves, like the rhythm in me. I've got the rhythm. But as a child, like when you sing in your mother's living room and you are following each and every dance routine, and when you get to the point of going to the club and you wanna get in there and you wanna show them that you know the whole song. Come on, that was nice.
You think you can dance or you can dance. There are two things here, okay?
Now that with the extent of how dance has evolved. No. Dance has evolved quite a bit.
So
Like,
are you getting intimidated by
oh,
the
I'm
new
very
dance
intimidated. So I've decided to stick to what I know.
moves? Okay, which is singing?
Oh, God.
No.
No, not that.
Okay, so as much as I've known you, a lot of people don't know that you have done modeling, you have done acting, voiceovers. If you can just give me a brief history of those things, acting, modeling.
Okay.
Yeah.
So modeling, I always loved modeling as a kid. Like, I don't know, I had weird little confidence issues.
Okay.
Really? But
You having weird confidence issues?
I did. As a kid, I was a very shy kid, and it took quite a lot to bring me out of that comfort zone. But with modeling, it was a form of acting because they gave it at school. You know, they'll give you modeling classes and all that stuff.
Which school did you go to? Because this school, I'm okay. By the way, viewers, Valerie is from Zimbabwe. I'm from Zimbabwe. Okay, this school I went to did not have modeling.
Oh, they had
classes.
karate. They had modeling.
Did you go to one of those rich people's
No,
schools?
Eastridge.
Okay, that's very rich.
No, it's
people's
not.
school.
It's not.
What is it? Okay,
It was
okay.
just a standard school.
What did they call it? A group A or B school?
I have no idea.
It was a group A.
So anyway,
Okay,
So
so your school taught you modeling. Okay, let's take it from there. So we have just established that you went
Yeah,
to a
so-
fancy rich people's school. Okay.
no, but yes. So I did the modeling thing at school.
Yeah.
It was more for after school activities, and you got to go to places. That was fun, but never really took it any further than that past primary school. And then in high school there was a pageant. I was in Form 2, and then they were like, oh, in high school they used to
Yeah.
have those school pageants, and I decided, let me give it a go. Let me go and do, some modeling stuff. And I remember going on the stage. I have never been booed off a stage, bruh.
You been
I was booed off a stage and people threw stuff. I was bullied a lot in high school. I was bullied.
Why? Were you not beautiful enough?
I was skinny like a twig and
I told you the
tall.
python was going to eat you, and you went into the python's pit.
But anyway, I was bullied a lot, but it wasn't like it was just a particular group of people in high school that just did. So from there, I never tried it again. It just totally killed my confidence in that part. But then after that, when I was now going on in life and I was now working, I think at that time I was working for Saatchi and Saatchi in Zimbabwe. This lady just approached me and said, "Oh, you're perfect for this. Do you want to do modeling?" So because I'd been so gutted from my experience in high school, I just said, you know what? Only when she said how much it would cost, and she was like, "Yeah, you get paid like about that was $50 on the start for any pageants per hour." So I was like, extra money? Who says no to extra money? So I would literally go to the pageant with my backpack, with my laptop from work, all dressed up in my tomboy clothes.
Was it $50 a day or $50 an hour?
An hour.
How many hours would you do?
So sometimes, like for labels, it would be from the moment you come on engagement for makeup and whatever. That would be so pretty much about 5 to 6 hours. A job.
Okay. And then you moved to Australia.
Oh, plenty more things happened after that. Then I moved to Australia.
Oh no, of course, if we had to go through all your history, we'll be here for another 3 hours.
Yes.
So you moved to Australia, and how did the modeling profession and the acting profession pan out for you while you were in Australia?
I completely forgot about it, actually, to be honest. I
So
got
you
married.
forgot media?
I didn't forget media. Media, I just tried chasing it and I
And then
couldn't.
didn't work?
I couldn't get through.
Okay.
And modeling, because remember I said I only did it for the money when I did it later on in my
But then you
future.
think that this place is where you would get lucrative deals of
No, my
modeling.
confidence was already crushed from high school. So
I thought you did.
No, I did that for the money. That was not for the confidence.
Okay, so the confidence. Okay, all right. So
It's a bit of a ball.
it's a bit of both. Okay, all right. We
So
understand.
I moved over here. So modeling was not even anywhere in any scope
Yeah.
of anything, because obviously I'm focusing on school and I'm focusing on, because I left a daughter back home, taking care of my daughter, running the agency as well. That was not really anyway in my peripheral vision. And then I got married, and then I left my marriage, and then my confidence was worse, crushed at that point. So I felt like how I got into the modeling again, it was more of me trying to find my way back. So I had moments of reflection, trying to remember, like from when I was a child, trying to find myself again. And the points of moments I could remember was obviously being, as a child in modeling and how that made me happy at that point in time. So that's how I trekked back. So it wasn't really like a career per se, it was a healing process.
So it was therapy.
Yes.
Okay, and how did that go? Because if I remember very well, here viewers here, like Valerie is one of my best friends. I remember she went for a photo shoot which costed $7,000.
Healing therapy.
Whoa. What kind of therapy? Okay, I'm serious on this. Like it was ridiculous. I was looking. She was like, I'm going for a photo shoot. I was like, yeah, I can probably do the photo shoot. She was like, no, I need a professional one. And then I asked, how much was it? She said 7,000. I was like, I choked. I was like, what? So how? Okay, explain to me how. Maybe there are other people out there. Maybe I don't understand this world. How do you get your photos? I don't think a wedding can even cost $7,000.
Okay, so I, at the time, because I had just gradually started the journey, so I was like, you know what, if I'm going to do it, let me not be half-assed about it. Let me see it through. So I wanted to make a modeling portfolio.
Okay.
So part of the therapy was... Stop laughing. Part of the therapy was seeing it through. So yes, I had a couple of photo shoots and
couple.
There was
couple.
Yes, there was. So 2 major ones for my portfolio, which was great. I completely loved them. It was, for me, it was a transformation after. It was just not the pictures. Let me explain. It was just not the pictures. Because as a photographer myself, I can attest to say that it's different when someone sees you. Like the way you see yourself, and then when someone sees you and they can show you what they're seeing.
Okay. What were they seeing which is worth... Okay,
you saw the photos.
Oh, I saw the photos. The photos were amazing. Okay.
So it showed me that I was an amazing person.
Of course you're an amazing person. You've done amazing
I had
things.
forgotten that, remember?
Okay, but for me, okay, look, I do understand, and people can go through a lot of therapy. I mean, people can do other things to go through therapy. 7,000, really? Okay, and this is the 7,000, which I know.
Plus 3.
Which means
Totally worth it. Took me a year to pay them all.
How is that even worth it?
It was worth it. It was worth every damn dime.
Okay, first of all, let's not send the wrong message to people here that if you are depressed or if you are going through
No, people have their own processes. I said the photography bit of it, remember, it was part of the journey. It was part of the journey. It was me trying to reconnect to a certain point in my life.
Okay.
Like to dispel that moment when I walked on that stage and I was laughed at. That moment when, when someone told me you ain't gonna amount to shit. It was a journey. Because I remember one of the days, I went for this modeling seminar and they were supposed to be recruiting models and stuff like that. And it was one of the interviews and was standing there and you have so much bent up trauma and all this in you that you don't even realize. I was asked a simple question. I don't remember what the question was. And in the middle of trying to answer the question and the judge in front of the judges, I broke down into tears. It was a simple question.
Was this in Australia?
Yeah, it was in Australia. It was a simple question, and I broke down into tears, and I couldn't continue with that. So I needed those moments because my life was isolated, and having those were kind of like networking situations where I get to meet people, get to spend time with people in the middle of all that. So yeah, it was a very productive journey, very expensive.
I'm glad you're now healed, and as you said, people go through a lot of processes to get through their trauma, and some of the processes cost $7,000, but not only that, more. I remember, okay, so here's the thing with me. So when these photos came out, okay, these were very amazing photos. Like I've never like seen anything like that. These were really, really amazing, right? But the problem was when I went to Rio's place. She calls me, she's like, oh, the photos are out. I was like, yeah, cool. So she brings out this book, and I'm about to open the book. She's like, no, you need to put some gloves on. I'm like, why? What? She's like, no, you have to put some gloves on. And then she brings out these white gloves. I'm like, do they have to be white? And for me to view these photos from this amazing book, they were amazing photos, like really amazing. I'll give credit for that. I don't know for 7,000 though, and the white gloves. And do you still show people that book and give them the white
Only
gloves?
the rare few who get to see the book. Yes, the rare few.
Do they get to wear the white glove?
Yes.
Like, do you have number of white gloves or you wash that one?
Just spray them. After COVID, just spray them with Glen 20.
I hope I was the first one to put the glove on.
You were the first one, yes. After me.
Okay, so you had to put the white glove to view your own photos? Okay, that's the modeling mode for you people. You don't even know what's practical and what's possible. It's full of surprises. So, of course, you went through, as you said, trauma of your marriage, and a lot of people go through that. And I'm glad that you found your way. You found a way. Are you healed though?
It's a journey. Life's a journey.
Life is a journey.
Life is a journey.
No, of course.
But I'm happier now.
No. That's good. So, with the work which we have done, we are looking at API, 4EB. APA. It's just my pronunciation. It's not it's APA. I'm African. Forgive me for my accent, okay? With all this work you have done, what has been the hurdles? Because I remember you're telling me that when you wanted to do your media, you went for an interview, and then they realized that you were black. See, I've heard a lot of people say this a lot. This word has been thrown around. Oh, I didn't get the job because I was black. Or I didn't get the job because of my skin color. Or because I didn't get the job because of my gender, or whatever situation it can be. My question here is, how have you found yourself working with these organizations? Of course, the APA would probably be, I think, to be the easiest place to work because it's African professionals will probably understand. But with these other avenues in your life, how hard have you found them?
Okay, just to correct, I'm not saying the reason why I was utterly denied in total was because I was black. The others never even got back to me.
Okay.
I'm just talking on the basis of the one who did, and we had the conversation to a point where we are already getting into onboarding.
Yeah.
And then when someone says a comment like,
no. They were just telling you, we didn't know that you were black. I mean, when you feel it, like, I know the feeling. When you feel it, they don't have to say it. You can just feel it. Like,
so I won't say everybody did, but I'm just talking about the one.
Yeah.
So pretty much. And then with working with APA, it was now at least we could have conversations where it's, how do I put it? You can at least even sit at the table.
You go to the table.
You can sit, and if whether you are listening, whether you can put your hand up and say, hey, I think here. And when you do say I think here, someone's listening. You're not being sideswiped or anything. That was the opportunity that was there at APA, pretty much.
Okay, so how did that help you with your professional development?
Because before APA anyway, I had started doing my own, I started doing review studios here by accident, actually, because I did a website for a friend. And then the friend referred a friend, and then a friend, and a friend, a friend, and then that's how it just kept on going here. I hadn't planned on it being a business, but because of the constant referrals, I had to kind of, because I know how to do this, I had to create like a platform where it made things seamless and more easier for me to be able to help. And then the more I worked with people, especially because they were new startup businesses and most of them were in the NDIS sector, I found that there was very little knowledge into, people have this idea that I'm going to start a business and the decision is I need a logo, I need a website. Half the time they come without web content, but even before that they haven't even thought about their brand. They just want something up. They just want something up right now. They haven't thought about their brand strategy. They haven't thought about anything. So it kept on being a lot of back and forth of saying, hey, what are you trying to, what's your business about? No, just put anything. No, it really doesn't work like that. So that's how I ended up just changing from just doing thoroughly web design to being more brand and creative strategist, because I had to sit with my clients and try and help them to understand how it works, especially because I'm more about growth. It's not about the right now. We are thinking about your brand from like 5 years, 10 years on in, and that's how I stumbled into that.
Okay, so how did that go? Because now my question here is, you helped a lot of NDIS companies, and I actually know that. The only problem is why couldn't you create your own NDIS company?
I thought about it, but I work in disability. And I have been working in disability since I arrived in Australia. So if I'm going to work in the space, it will be more art therapy, because it's not really like I can't say my thing. I enjoy working with my clients, the ones I work with at the moment, but it's not something I would want to step into as a business.
Okay.
Because it's not in my vision.
It's not your strength.
No, I'm very great at running businesses, but no, it's not within my core or the direction of where I am going.
Okay, so it's not within your vision board of what you want to accomplish. Okay, oh no, fair enough. Because I've seen these people make lots of monies from NDIS. I don't know, everyone else is trying to do it and they're making good money. I thought it would be a good business you'd kind of try to look into.
Yeah, it would be, but I'm more of thinking of something that
is more than that.
And something that, like, I always have this concept where, as you always say, I live in dreamland. But I have this concept.
I say you live in your own world.
Okay, in my own world.
Yeah.
But I have this concept where I believe money can be made anyway.
Yeah.
Anyhow.
Of course.
Even, come on, if the guy could make money from selling toothpicks, you know, you just need to be passionate about what you do and at least love it, you know. And I'm thinking more of a retirement. A retirement type thing.
You're still young to think of retirement.
I wanted to retire at 35. I just hit a few speed bumps.
So are we saying you're over 35?
Oh no, I'm now 34.
Okay.
I only have a year and I don't see the retirement coming up. Like, I want something I can keep on doing and something I can carry on doing that I personally enjoy. And I love building things.
Okay.
From scratch. And this is something that is, you know, beautiful for me to, like, if I work with a brand and watch a brand grow. And now, because I'm internalizing it to myself and I'm creating products for myself, that I want to share out there. These are products I want to watch and see them grow. Because I'm more about business automation. Find that way where I can relieve my hands and stay at home, read a book, paint, and have, you know, the money flowing in
coming in without working.
No, from the solutions I have built.
Created. No, that's fine. What inspires Rio Valerie Manyuchi?
What inspires me? It's my daughter.
Your daughter. Okay. You have a daughter? How old?
She's 11.
Is she in Australia? Is she in Zimbabwe?
She's on her way. Okay. She's literally maybe like, you know, just a few hours away.
Okay.
I'm joking. But she's on her way. She's on her way.
Okay. And in terms of, I don't know how this question is going to come out, but let me just try to explain the background.
See my eyes? I'm intimidating you, like, be careful what you say.
No, you can't intimidate me. In terms of work ethic, what turns you on?
Jeez. Good Lord. Okay, in what context?
Okay, so I'll give you for example. Okay, me, like the great Will Smith once said, what turns you on? Me, I'm turned on by hard work. You know, if I see people working hard, digging, or, you know, I'm turned on by that, you know. Okay. And the next question, you know, I'm going to ask you is also, what turns you off? In terms of business, me, what turns me off is lazy people. I can't stand lazy people, you know. So in terms of, you know, professional development in what you do, what turns you on?
I like people who embrace change. Mm-hmm. Because especially in the space I'm in, things are constantly evolving. So you would have most people say, like, when AI came out, oh my God, this is terrible, or whatever the case is, or, you know, like, there's a lot. I feel there should be adaptation. Mm-hmm. If a person I like people who are quick on their feet, mm-hmm. quick to adapt and able to see change in steps, even before it comes. That, for me,
turns you on.
Damn, that does it.
What turns you off?
What does is... Okay, there's this thing. I can't really... Like, I've never really thought about it, so I'm trying to, like, quantify it. What turns me off is... Because I've seen this quite a lot.
Yeah.
When people don't listen to ideas, but look at a person. So, people will look at a person at face value, mm-hmm. and say, I don't think anything good is going to come out of this person. And then whatever the person says, they don't listen.
They're no longer listening.
They're no longer listening. Because I believe there is knowledge there's something that we can learn from every individual who walks on this earth.
No, everyone is important. Yeah, that's a fact. Everyone is important. And if people have misconception of people, or people start judging people by the looks, then we are in trouble. You know, you cannot. That's how they say, don't judge a book by its cover. You know, you got to know a person to understand a person. AI, you brought an interesting fact. AI. How has it influenced your work? How has it helped your work? But before you answer the benefits of AI, I would like you to start answering the disadvantages of AI, how it has affected you, and also how it has affected the industry you are in.
Okay, with AI and the industry I'm in, the disadvantages are not so many. They are not so many, actually. I just have to say, because as I said, if you can't see evolution coming, that's how you get affected. Mm. This was coming time immemorial. This noise only started now because it became mainstream. Okay. But AI has always been there. It's coming from the fact that you got your predictive text. Those are simple additions. You had chatbots. All that stuff has always been there, but it's just that now it's slowly becoming available mainstream. So for me, it was that gap of thinking, okay, how or when can we get this so that we can start using it for better processes, mm-hmm. better this, better that. I guess the only thing that I would say with AI would be time will fix it, I guess, is the issue of the whole replicating people's voices, because that's ethically copyright infringement. And the fact that now in a process, this interview can be happening and none of us can be here. Mm-hmm. Until it has been curbed, there's so much potential of fake news, fake information being pumped out there. And it's going to become harder to filter it out.
So you mean it has to be regulated quite well?
Regulation is going to be tough because this is going to happen, and it's going to happen in a wave. And a lot of stuff is going to have to fly until a moment when the dust settles.
Okay. Valerie, at which point does the dust settle? Because for me, I believe we are in the what we call cyber revolution at the moment, right? And when you say the dust will settle, I don't see it settling. I see
settling is embracing, and by embracing, we gain understanding.
Okay, so what are we to understand here? Because as you said, I can make a Kanye West song, mm-hmm. using AI. All I need is to tell AI, can you just, rap to these lyrics, and anyone can do it. Is it not also subtracting the quality of creativity, especially from you guys who are creative? Is it making you better or making you lazy, if I'm being...
No, because ideas don't come out from the air. I know there's this thing that people say, oh, ChatGPT, you know. You and me can use ChatGPT for the same project, but sometimes because it depends with background knowledge and certain things, it directs you on what you ask. It won't give you things out of the fly. Even if sometimes you get stuff that you don't understand, and then you get someone who will get something, and then they because you can't really take everything that you have off face value. You really have to go through each and everything, because at the end of the day, the human aspect, if you're going to apply it to humans, it's going to need a human filter.
Okay.
And the computer is not just going to generate anything like just out of thin air. You have to input. So a question of can you get me coffee, and the question of saying what type of coffee comes out of. Like you get different, so now you get certain specialize specifically in AI art, or just being an AI professional, because it's a tact that you develop. It's a skill you develop.
Okay, so basically what you feed it in is what it gives you back.
Yes.
Feed it rubbish, it gives you rubbish. Feed it awesome, it gives you awesome.
Gives you awesome. So there's still the human aspect in it.
Okay, but at the same time, Valerie, that's what I'm saying. Is it not removing certain creative aspects in humans? You see, I'm a scriptwriter, for example, right? Now a person can just tell AI, can you write me this script? And just give them whatever, and they don't have the time to actually go down and write. When you write a script, scriptwriters will tell you that ideas will start coming as you are writing. You start trying to explore different directions. That's what I'm saying. Does it not make you more? Is it not killing creative ideas more, because people are now becoming lazier and just going to AI?
Hey, if the work is lazy, it shows in the product. At the end of the day, as I said, whatever you input is what comes out. So you might be like, oh great, I got this, and then you are now wondering why the product is not having the effect it's supposed to have, because you did not get to the next stage of reviewing and putting in the human element of it. Because remember, it's a machine at the end of the day. It needs the human touch to finesse, to be able to adapt. It's like saying, can I have, give me 3 prompts for a social media strategy for this and so company, right? It will give you great suggestions, which can work. But then sometimes with most brands, because now what people need now is more of the personal touch. You can tell when something is
computer generated,
has just been generated and plonked, than when something is when there's the next step where someone engages.
Okay. All right. Look, we can have a long discussion about AI. It's a whole interview on itself. So, looking at what you have done from while you were in Zimbabwe, running your media business, coming here, also restarting Review Studios, which I like to call Revelation Studios.
You make it sound like a dark doom day from the Bible.
I think it's the best the best name for it. To working with APA 4EB and the job you do, and you are quite a beautiful woman.
Oh, thank you.
Of course you are. I had to say that. She forced me to. So, I mean, look, at the end is, I'm going to ask a very interesting question here in a relationship with men. From Africa, I've been told, like, there are points where for you to get somewhere, you need to be connected to certain people or be taken advantage of for you to get something. I mean, this is realistic and this happens, and I've met a lot of women who have told me, look, they've gone through this process, or they've gotten there, they've been asked for certain favors for this to happen. Have you faced some of these things in your journey?
Actually, from Zimbabwe, in my area, to be very honest, if you wanted to kill your career faster than you could say drop, do one of those things where you engage and you exchange favors. Because especially being that young when I was, because I started running my agency when I was 17, 17 and being that age, and the community is very close knit, one of those mistakes could end your careers.
Okay.
Simply as if you decide to engage, sometimes how are you going to chase your money? You lose that power.
Okay.
You lose that power to be able to go and say, hey, my guy, you know.
Yeah, but the question, it's not that you engaged, of course. It's have you faced such situation? And have you how did you deal with such situation? Because look, here we've got a lot of women, a lot of young women who are going through these processes, and you are very successful in what you have done. You are very successful up to this point of whatever you said to do, you're accomplishing it. So let's give another 17-year-old out there who's trying her best to be what she wants to be, to achieve what she wants to achieve. When she's faced with such situations, how do you deal with them? Have they happened to you? And if they did, how did you deal with them?
Of course they happened. But as I said, let me just take it back, because I was at about 17, I was creative director for Harambee Holdings, which was the biggest holding company at the time in Zimbabwe. So it was more of a case of I was working with a lot of older people. But the dynamic was a little bit different for me because I came in as their director. So when I would go to the smaller organizations, there will be issues of people not listening to you, and then because one, you're too young, and then the second part is it would be people hitting on you after the fact. And come on, let's be honest, I'm your boss. I'm your boss. I'm 17, you're 40.
It's not gonna.
The math is not mathing. But beyond that, it was also trekking back, because I had a lady in marketing who, when I got in, she was very worried, and I guess it was that girl power where she sat down with me and she plainly said, "Real, I'm glad you're here, but this is a brutal place, you know, especially with the position you are." And she just let me know. She said, "If you need anything, I've got your back. You can come and talk to me." I remember her name is Faith Chasokela. And pretty much when I encountered those problems, she walked in with me into those meetings because she was more senior than me. And she did the first engagements, and she pretty much kind of held my hand in the first year of doing the job. So finding someone like that to be able to, you know, I guess you can call it a mentor. You can call it a mentor who can be able to help you tackle some of these issues would be great. And also just the bare knowledge of just knowing that some of the decisions that you make today will obviously come back and bite you again in the future. It should be motivation enough for you to be able to know to stay away, especially if you have a goal and a target of where you're going.
So self-respect, really.
I guess. I don't like using those words, but yeah, self-respect.
But, like, okay, I'm gonna go back to this story again. Like, in a professional setting, you know, so some people have been married from professional setting. How do you differentiate that this is genuine or this is in passing? Like, you know, you are a beautiful woman. If someone likes you, they're gonna come to you and say, "Hey, Valerie."
That's a bit different.
Yeah.
So in professional settings, like if it's peer to peer, you're gonna, you know, sometimes you work in the same workspace. I don't know about most workplaces, but advertising was brutal. Because you had to live in the space you work, literally.
Yep.
So socializing was within the same space. So it wasn't uncommon for peers to date.
Okay.
It wasn't uncommon for peers to date. And when it's peer-on-peer dating, no one's got influence on anybody. No one is like, I'll knock you the door.
But then your boss can ask you out. Or someone with influence. Look, let's say I am your manager. I like you. I've got influence over you. I can determine where you go and how to go there. How then do you tell? That's the $1 billion question here.
You need to be willing to let go of the job.
So are you saying it's impossible to...
No, it's not impossible. You can genuinely fall in love, but then remember there's work policies at the end of the day, and you don't really... Like, you don't have to leave, but you don't want your progress in a space to always be colored by the fact that...
Okay, so given that you have experienced this, and do you have any mentorship programs to help other ladies, especially you running the African program, which a lot of people listen to? Do you yourself?
You see my face.
Do you yourself have any plans or any situations where you've created a mentorship program to help young ladies? Because we are having problems of young women here, even in Australia. Look, stories keep coming up of this happening. Some of them are shushed up. Some of them, a few will only make it to the public. Do you have any programs to help young girls to go through this, or do you? What advice would you give?
Programs per se, I do not know, and I do not have. But as I said before, mentoring. And it's not only, you need to be able to identify the people within your space who you can, I guess, lean on, because you need that. You can't really be isolated in any space where you can be comfortable to say, hey, this is happening to me, and you can get the right advice. And sometimes it doesn't really even need to be a peer. Depending on where you work, it might be actually having to escalate, because if you don't report, it's going to happen to someone else. And then when the cycle just keeps on going and going and going, and not even talking about the psychological aspect of it. If you're confident enough, address it there and then.
Okay. Interesting. And you wrote this question once for me on an interview, so I'm gonna give this question back to you. As an African professional, do you think gender equality, racial equality in the media sector, do you feel it has been accomplished, or we still have a long way to go in Australia?
We have a long way to go.
Why so?
There's a lot of things I would be thinking about, but there is still a lot of... Okay, let me give you an example. Like when I was doing... when I decided to re-pursue my modeling and acting career, in here...
7,000. Okay.
Yeah. It's not the fact of anything. It's like the roles are not really set up for... There's no roles really written for us.
Okay, so as a woman, or as a woman of color, or
as a woman of color, and as being of color in general, like there's not many of us in the media space.
Okay.
Which is granted, because a person can't really write something that they don't know about, but then at the same time, I don't know if there's enough support for multicultural people to be able to go out there and be able to pursue this without being broke. Because I remember we tried it with we're still doing it with now it's your turn to correct me. There you go. What we call it?
I don't know. You keep going.
Queensland African Quaka, yes.
Yeah.
So with Quaka, and the journey was it was an enlightenment, because it's a lot of self to give financially and all around
time.
It's a lot to give financially all around, and basically without the support of the government or people allowing us to be in these spaces to be able to co-write these things, it's hard for us to be able to have roles that fit in.
So, okay, before I ask my next question, also, you see, diversity is a word which gets thrown around quite a lot. And in the media field, which you are a professional in, disability, how has it been embraced? Because you see, with diversity, it comes to gender, racial, and disability. Do you think you've got more media personnels working in the disability with disability working in this sector?
So no, but I have with CPL, which is Cerebral Palsy League. I've worked with them closely on Invincibility, which is a radio program just like this one that happens every Thursday at Phoenix, every Friday now at Phoenix Radio, and it's an opportunity for disability voices, but that's just a handful. I haven't done the research to know how many people are investing in that, and as well, I've worked in with CPL again. Every arts experience I've really had working in disability has been with CPL. That's an initiative coming from One Direction, and that's only one organization, so I can't really speak of on the whole industry of what work is going in there. But yeah, I've been seeing adverts on TV as well with Amy engaging, lucky you're with Amy, things like that, and even Henry. So there is a little bit more diversity, more than you would see before.
Yeah, but is it moving at the speed you would accept that? Because there's breadcrumbs, you know what I mean? There's breadcrumbs. They can give you the breadcrumbs and you'll be happy, like, oh, at least we've got. Is it moving at the speed you'd appreciate for it to be? Because I'm sure you'd like to see more diversity as a woman of color.
Yes.
Yeah. Is it moving at the speed which you accept, or we are moving way slowly?
It's not really about speed that I accept, but at the end of the day, like, what I believe is we just need the first person to open the door.
Yeah. So they're gatekeepers.
So that more people
Yeah.
can come flowing in. Because sometimes it's just a lack of understanding. As I said, someone said, you speak English so well. You know, it's just a case of understanding where you have that one person who will open the door and say, hey, we can do this too. Even that's both for color, both for multiculturalism and for disability. They are small steps, but it's the first step. The first step is the one that always counts, and it's now time for us, for those people who've made it, to be able to bring everyone else with.
If you were to go back 14 years ago and tell your younger self advice, what would you say?
Well, you say 14, so how old am I? 20, what?
When you were 14, let's just put it that way, stop doing
How
the
are you
maths.
20?
14, when you were 14, if you had to give yourself advice, what would you say?
Buy Bitcoin, baby.
I think that would be the worst advice you can.
I'll be like, baby, let's start mining that stuff and let's buy this stuff. You got $1, you're good. Let's go. Oh, you need to burn your mom's electricity. Let's mine it. And please don't forget your wallet. That's it.
So that's the advice you'd give yourself?
Yes.
Buy Bitcoins?
Yes.
That's the worst advice anyone can give themselves.
No, it's the best.
How is that?
You know why I say this?
Why?
I find like my creativity sometimes is stifled because I have to drag myself in all these different directions for the sake of being sustainable, to be able to pay bills and whatnot. Imagine if I had the time in the world where I am the resources. I would be like, I don't know, we'll be like revisiting the moon the 10th time.
But Bitcoin has crashed.
Ah, man, stop that.
It has crashed. It went up.
Well, your question was, what would you tell yourself, Bitcoin?
I said, what
and
advice?
I would have bought it out maybe in 2020, and I'll be good.
Okay, let's fast forward. If God blesses you with many years, let's say yes.
Oh, He will?
60, 70.
It's not an if matter. Why are you putting if in front of that statement?
God is going to bless you with so many years.
Thank you.
What would be the biggest accomplishment you would have had when you are 70? When you say, like, I think I've done this and I'm satisfied that I've lived my life. What is that thing?
I am going to build a media center. Massive one.
Okay, people, can you please keep receipts to that? Because we have to question about this media center when we are 70.
Yes, when they're 70. No, by 70 it'll be done, and like it'll be done like many years before.
Okay, so at what age are we talking about here?
The hope is like in the next 10 years.
10 years, okay. I'll definitely keep that receipt and find out if it does happen. Besides, how do you balance this? APA, which I like to call API because I used to work for a company called API. How do you balance your job at API for EB, your disability job, job, being a mom. How do you balance all this?
Unfortunately, being a mom is currently someone else's responsibility, so that's off the table. It's just the financial aspect, so that gives me more focus on working to earn the money.
Yeah, but as much as I know is your baby's coming, she's few hours away, so
Few things are going to have to drop off the plate.
which one? Okay, you literally have two jobs at 4EB here. You run the APA Media, and you've got Review, which is Revelation Studios. You are part of Quaka. So, who's gonna be the most unfortunate here, if you don't mind me asking?
No, I cannot divulge that at the moment. But no, it's gonna be a good balance. It's gonna be a good balance because I'm just trying to figure out a way to collaborate things so that, you know, like sometimes I find as organizations, especially African organizations, little progress is made because we're all pulling in different directions.
Yeah.
There's a way and somewhere, if there's a way and somewhere we can meet where there's a common ground and we have goals that align, collaborations would be very effective. And I think I will be the perfect person to be able to kind of help realize those at the moment, I think, personally.
So, are you gonna have more kids in the near future?
Yo. No, I don't think so.
Why are you laughing?
I don't think so. No, I don't think so.
But the reason I'm asking is families are very important.
I already have family. I got you.
Yeah.
I got my darling in the corner over there, and I got my daughter coming.
No.
Bunch of other sons.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, do you have any future aspiration of making your family bigger?
If there is,
getting married again?
if there is a place in the world,
Yeah.
I guess I'm still coming from a place of trauma. If there is a place in the world where I can be aggressively ambitious
Yeah.
and still be able to hold some person in the back, maybe there's a possibility, but nah, I don't see that.
Okay, the trauma of divorce is very huge on both men and women. And as a friend, I've seen what you went through, and I was there during the journey, and sometimes it was one of the worst things, you know, you could ever gone through. Why I am asking this question is because, you know, things do happen, but is there a point in life where you say, you know what, forgive, forget, and
Forgiven and in the process of forgetting. It's
Yeah.
hard to really forget when the wounds are still there. That's why we are on the journey of healing.
But the question here, Valerie, is you need, like, I think everybody needs somebody.
I got me. I got you. Right?
Yeah, like even birds, they travel in pairs, you know. Even
I got you, babe. I got you.
No, I did
babe.
not sign for that contract. Okay, Valerie, I mean, like we can talk all day. Honestly,
Yeah, literally.
I still have a lot to ask, but according to your own standard, we're running out of time. Is there anything you'd like to say to your viewers?
See you when I see you, which is every Sunday at 8 p.m. on Radio 4EB on the African program. Please come with us on this journey. It's going to be great. Like, you are not going to regret this. And, you know, at least you can have that. You can be part of the story. Say, oh, we watched this and you became part of it. And then we grew together and we blew. Come on, guys. Come on. I'm all about collaborations.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, my name is Russ George for EB 98.1. Please keep us logged in. Follow the African program. And I'm glad to be speaking with the coordinator of this program, Rio Valerie Manucci. And to discuss all these things, guys, subscribe to our program so that we bring you more interesting interviews, because that's our plan, boss, right, for 2024, to bring more interesting interview, more interesting people, and to the Brisbane market. So keep us logged in. Till next time, ciao, goodbye.
Ciao, ciao.
Radio 4EB is celebrating International Women's Day on the 24th of February with our annual Women's Luncheon. We invite and welcome women from all ages and backgrounds to join us for a wonderful afternoon celebrating who we are as women, with special guests, good food, good music and good vibes. And even better, our Women's Luncheon is free, held at Radio 4EB 140 Main Street Kangaroo Point at 12 noon. Bring your sisters, mothers, friends and all women are welcome. Register your attendance now at info@4eb.org.au.
Hi, I'm Vicky Howard, Chair of Community Arts and Nighttime Economy. Since halving the cost of green waste bins to just $1 a week, almost 7,000 more green bins have been ordered in Brisbane. This means more green waste is being recycled into compost to help our green spaces grow and thrive. We are also rolling out our food waste recycling service to more than 5,000 extra households from February 1st, which will help more households turn scraps into compost. It's all part of Council's $80 million commitment to ease cost of living pressures and make living in Brisbane even better. To find out more or order your green bin today, visit www.brisbane.qld.gov.au or call 3403 8888.
Women in Community Radio. Come along to the NEMBC Multicultural Women's Forum, a seat at the table, where we can meet online and network, share experiences and learn new skills. This forum is being held in Adelaide in a hybrid format, so you can join in online as well. If you're from a multicultural background and involved in radio or interested in radio broadcasting, then this forum is for you. Let us meet on Saturday, 10th of February 2024